Hello, Ryan Dahl, back again with PraiseCharts Live. Let me tell you something. I love what I do, and I love dealing with all the music, all the artists, all the sheet music, the chords, the charts, the notes, all of that. But I tell you the great privilege I have sometimes with just a few artists when I become good friends with them and just enjoy doing life together with people who are making great music and love resourcing the church. And one of the people that I would consider as becoming a great friend is Travis Cottrell. He is such inspiration, a great friend of Praise Charts, and a brand new album just came out last week, and it's already rising through. You'll see him on the homepage of Praise Charts. We're going to talk about all the songs from this album, The Kindness of the Cross. I can't wait. This is going to be a great discussion. Let's bring Travis in right now. Travis, welcome back.
Hey Ryan, how you doing?
I just love talking to you. I don't know. I feel like so relaxed, so much like you're just a brother from another mother. Love it.
Well, yeah, we had long conversations from the very beginning of our relationship, didn't we?
Yeah. This has been like a work in motion over many years, and now it's great to be able to not only have that friendship that goes back so many years, but now we're starting to see the music and the worship and the vision and all of that kind of coming together. And Praise Charts in general, we love you as well. So excited about this new season. It's been a great week. You launched this, The Kindness of the Cross, and I kind of think it's also a bit of a relaunching of Travis Cottrell. You know, there's like a new face, there's new ways that we're getting music out, and there's been a lot of change in your life in the last couple of years. Hey, so how does that feel, like just being in this new space, this new world we're in?
Right, man, it feels great.
Yeah.
Last week was so fun, and having the release, and then watching all the charts pop up on
Mm-hmm.
Praise Charts. When I saw that landing page, when I think it was Devin that sent me the link, I clicked
Yeah.
on that link and I was like, "Are you kidding me?
I know.
This looks
Yeah.
so good. It's so
Yeah.
good, and it's so user friendly, which is
Yeah.
is so important." And so I've been so happy about it. So
Yeah.
happy.
Well, definitely, I've discovered that how you and I connect and relate so well is that you're more than just an artist making songs, but you really care about resourcing the church. And of course, that's what Praise Charts is about so much. And I think it was just even in the last couple of months that kind of dawned on me more that I want to rise up as you are rising up, because we're both so passionate about helping the church. And so even this album, it's not all songs you've written. Certainly you've put a ton into arranging these songs. Some are new songs, but some are just recapturing these great songs and making them so that churches and choirs and orchestras, like the whole community can come together and sing these songs. Why don't you describe a little bit for me about your unique like bent? What is your core passion in all this music that you're creating? I think it's good to restate that. Tell me about it.
Listen, we did not talk 10 seconds about what we were going to talk about, did we? We
No.
made zero plans for this. We just jumped in.
Yeah.
And you have set me up for like to talk about the passion of my life. See, we think alike.
Yeah.
Um, I do I just have dabbled in all different kinds of the different facets of worship ministry, music ministry, as a singer, as an artist, as a songwriter, as an arranger, performer, whatever. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Hmm.
Sometimes when you're in ministry, and even when you're in a music industry, you have to do a few things to kind of put a living together. You
Yeah.
maybe do this part time and this part time and this part time, and I've done a little bit of all of it. But as I look back over what God has called me to do, all of it, like the only place that I feel 100% at home, just
Yeah.
like without a shadow of a doubt, is just creating things that I can hand to worship leaders and say, I think this will help you.
Yeah.
I think this will serve your people.
Yeah.
And so I love to sing. I love to perform. If I love doing all those other kinds of things. But if at the end of the day, what I more than an artist or even more than a writer, I consider myself a resourcer. I
Yeah.
think that's why you and I get along so well, because
Yeah.
we kind of share that passion.
Yeah.
And so when I make a record, I want it to sound good. I want it to have an artistic sensibility. I want it to be, something that people like to listen to. I
Mm-hmm.
want it just at a very base level. I want it to be good. But at the end of the day, how good it is doesn't measure success for me.
No.
What measures success is if churches can use it.
Yeah.
So like when I'm talking to my worship leader friends all across the country and they go, hey, we really love this song. This really ministers to our people and it's really usable for me.
Yeah.
That's a number one. That's the end. That's right there. That's my favorite thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
every time I make a record, each record might sound a little different, but there has to be something in it that's giving resources to people that they can
Yeah.
use.
Well, I'll tell you what I want to do is we're going to take some time to go through your album, like song by song. And the overarching theme, I think I want you to just tell us, like, how this is designed for your church, like why it will work well for your church. What kind of thought you put into this as far as even like key, vocal range, chordal arrangements, how you've experienced it in the church. I want to like tell the story from that perspective. So like I've got
Great.
the songs here. We're just going to dive in. We're going to get like nice and dirty inside the album. This will be like a director's cut of The Kindness of the Cross. So first of all, like here we are at the homepage. Now this won't be here forever, but for now, Travis, you own PraiseCharts. So there you go. You're all over it. This is what the homepage looks like now. And you can already see this song, Grace Greater, which is a wonderful hymn and a beautiful hymn arrangement, is already rising up. That and then Jesus, Your Name, man, I love the groove of that. I can't wait to talk about that song. And then if you are coming to PraiseCharts and you see this little, clickable banner here, that's going to take you to the master page of The Kindness of the Cross. This is what Travis was talking about. And we made this kind of special for you. In fact, just like a little backstory, it was only 3 weeks ago that we didn't even have all the charts made. And I'm going to admit, I was a little bit sitting back in the bench, and it's like, well, maybe we'll do a couple of lead sheets and a few chord charts. And Travis, you and I had this little come to Jesus moment, and you were like, Ryan, if you want to resource the church with me, we need to go out of the gate like with it all. So are you there or not? And I
I didn't exactly say that,
no.
but that was in essence it was.
Yeah,
it was.
but sometimes I needed people to just be like, okay, time to get off the fence and do it. So we did. I put Mason Brown, who's on staff now with PraiseCharts, and a very close friend of yours. I said, Mason, in the next 10 days, all you are doing is Travis Cottrell. And that's kind of what brought us to...
He was like, oh, geez, that's all I've done for the past 6 years.
I know, right? No, Mason loves Travis Cottrell music. And so he had the time of his life. And then he was done and he went on holiday. So I don't even know where he is right now. He's on the beach somewhere with his family, and he deserves it. So, at any rate, what I was saying is, from the homepage of PraiseCharts, I'm just giving you the tour here. You come to this, click on that. You're going to get on this thing. And we've got the songs, and there's kind of like, Travis, I'm telling you this as well, so you get this, that we've got the worship sort of angle on this album. All of the songs are done like that. And then we also have the choral angle of this. They're still the same core arrangements. They reflect the same recordings, but we've put a choral specific bent on these. And so you can see here, if we look at Jesus, Your Name, the choral version, and like all the different products that we've got, the orchestration, the octavo. We're going to talk a little bit about the print options, the download options, All of that is there. So I am excited about that. Why don't we just kind of like dive in to a couple of the songs, and you could just, again, I want you to be telling us about just how these songs can help make churches come alive, like what you have put into the arranging of these. Could we maybe go to this song, Jesus Your Name, since I mean that was just one I had just stumbled on, and I love this song. Tell us a little bit about it, where it came from, and the groove, the arrangements, the just the power of the song. So you go for it, and I'm gonna like walk us through the song as you're talking. So tell us about it.
Absolutely. So this was one of the earlier songs when we started writing
Yeah,
for this record, and when we when Worship Together came and said we're ready to do another record, initially we were talking about doing just a straight up hymns record,
yeah,
and I would have been fine with that. And I'm a hymn guy. I love hymns, but that wasn't where. After we had our first couple of writing sessions, we just didn't. I feel like we just had a little bit more of a worship song direction than just straight up hymns. But out of the first couple of sessions, we I called it hymnish. So we had a lot of some allusions to some hymns, some lines from hymns, and
yeah,
then some sections of hymns. Now I'm a purist with hymns when it comes to the sense of, for the most part, if you sing a part of a hymn, you need to sing it like people know it. For the
right,
most part, I mean,
right,
there are times where you can break a rule here and there,
yeah,
and if you build the mechanism around it enough to where it still works. But for the most part, I like to keep it kind of pure. That doesn't mean that I think you have to sing the whole verse and the whole chorus and all the verses and all that. I just think that what you do sing, it needs to feel familiar.
right, yeah,
Now, great. Oh, but so for Jesus Your Name, we started to uh, the entry point for that song was more about tempo and feel than it was about what we were saying, because again, thinking about resourcing the church with songs that they can use, I'm thinking of the beat and the meter of a service, like
hmm.
how a service goes. And I think one of the things that is really, really hard for worship leaders to find, Phil Wickham aside,
Hmm.
is up-tempo songs.
Yeah,
Like good high energy songs that begin services, songs when you just need that beats per minute to be higher, or you need the general energy of a song to be higher.
yeah,
They're hard to come by.
yeah,
This is a generation of mid-tempo and even kind of mid-tempo power ballad kind of thing. We've
yeah,
got lots of that.
yeah,
But we don't have a lot. I mean, Phil, he gave us great things. He gave us House of the Lord. Those are the two that really hit for my people right now. And then you've
yeah,
got the older ones. This is Amazing Grace and a couple of those, but they're just hard to come by. So when we began Jesus Your Name, we began to think of what how do we welcome these moments of praise. And so we were coming to it from a standpoint of, we want to open a worship service.
yeah,
So that's how we began that song. And then because our minds were thinking hymnish,
yeah,
we just fell right into, once we wrote the chorus, we just fell right into the chorus of "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus."
yeah,
And it goes right into that. So the entire bridge is just a straight lift of the chorus of "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus." And when you're singing a new song, they'll learn it eventually over the course of a few weeks. But when you hit that bridge that people know, like Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him. I mean, it just hits so
yeah,
hard. And it just, I don't know, it does the worshiping soul good. I don't know
yeah.
how to describe it. It just
It's,
does.
well,
So
and
that's how we came up with that.
yeah, and when you're talking about upbeat songs, I'm looking at this song. It's only like 76 BPM, so it's not like a 120 or a super fast, but it's got
It's
that
not.
kind of like groove that you can lock into,
Yes.
right? Do, do,
Yes,
do,
it's not
do.
like Kindness of the Cross,
No,
or
yeah,
it's not like Four on the Floor or anything like that.
no,
But the general energy of the song is up. Like
right.
it just has, and it has a little bit of that. It has a little like gospel shuffle, which I just can't. I just can't get away from. Like
Yeah.
I'm so churchy,
Yeah.
and I have so many roots in gospel music that I just at some point on every record of mine we're going to
Yeah.
be having a little bit of kind of old school shuffle church.
Oh yeah. I can see like when that happens, people can't help but almost smirk a little. Like, okay, this is good. I
Right.
just, I don't know. It's just there's something that pulls the generations together and makes it feel like we're doing this together. And it's a bit of a style that crosses so many people's palettes. So I love that. Really
It
good.
does. It does. You're
Hmm.
right.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's just keep going through. I've got, we should talk a little bit about the kindness of the cross since you chose that to be the title track. And I know you were a little nervous about like this song is kind of pushing the edge a bit. This is more, full on. Tell me about how you felt when this song was coming out and where you
Are you
thought it
going to
was
make
going
me
to
talk
land.
about this?
I
You're going
don't
to
know.
bring this up. We're
Maybe
going to
not.
talk about this, Ryan. Yeah, I so this is my there are a couple of things to talk about with this. This is my
Okay.
first time to work with producer Nathan Knuckles.
Yeah.
Now Nathan is a legend. At least in my mind, he's a legend. In my world, he's a legend. He's produced all of those, like the first 10 or 15 years of Passion music. He produced all the Phillips Craig and Dean stuff. He produced, the original 10,000 Reasons, for crying out loud.
Wow.
He's had his hand on amazing, and he has an innate sensibility. And so I knew that he was going to push me production wise, just a little more pop than I had been before.
Yeah.
But I was ready for it. I mean, I've done so many worship records that I thought at this juncture in my journey, I'm going to defer to him a little bit. It's my first chance to work with him. It's working with someone new, and I'm going to let him take the lead on how some of this sounds. And so I did. And the very first track that he jumped into was The Kindness of the Cross.
Hmm.
And when I tell you that I loved it for a million reasons.
Hmm.
But it did make me nervous because it just was a little more aggressively pop than I had represented in my records
Right.
before.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely loved it, but it was new territory. And the melody was laying was it's just different for me. It was just
Yeah.
a different. But I don't want to be caught doing the same thing over and over and over. I want God is creative, he is creator, and I want to be with him where he's moving, even
Yeah.
if it's something new. And I had written that song with Benji Cowart, who has been one of my dearest friends for almost 30 years. Angela and I had dinner with Benji and Jenna a couple nights ago, and we were
Nice.
just like talking about our 30 years of friendship. I mean, Jenna and I were in the same vocal studio in college. And so I wrote that with him and with one of his dearest friends, Matt Armstrong, who is a great friend of mine now too, and has written lots of stuff. But the lyric was so freeing, and it was so representative of the life that Benji and I had shared over these 30 years of just walking with each other through a lot of stuff from the time we were in our early 20s, that it kind of felt like the song needed to have that same freedom.
Yeah.
So I was finally like, Travis, don't be so uptight. Just enjoy this song for the great,
Yeah.
for what it says, and for it just feels like a great pop song. And then it goes into a hymn too.
Right.
So, you've got this great pop song, and then it breaks into this full on gospel, how marvelous, how wonderful,
Yeah.
and my song shall ever be. And so you are right. I was scared to death about what people were going to think about this song, but I love it. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun.
Well, I love that you can just tell that story because it kind of frees other people. How many people feel like that in their own church? They're like, I want to introduce this song, but I'm nervous. I don't know how people are going to
Right.
go for it. And in fact, I just did an interview an hour ago with the guys from River Valley Worship up in Minneapolis, and they were talking about pushing new sonic landscapes and just having the freedom of exploring new grounds, and that's the freedom the Lord has given us. And it feels a little terrifying at times, and even to hear like you feel that, because it's there's a comfort in staying in what's safe. It's like everyone knows Travis Cottrell, he always hits a home run, but he always stays. Or does he progress forward? And
Right.
you are taking some of those roads with this next one. So love it.
I've been having interesting conversations with the leadership of my church here in Brentwood, just about
Yeah,
other things, not about
yeah.
worship, but just as we watch what our people respond to, and we thought this would go this way, and it went this way, and it went this way wholeheartedly, and we
Hmm.
thought this would be this, and it was actually this, and I just we think we know people, and God does give us a sense. I think that there are people for a reason that we're leading. We can have a sense, but we've got to give them space to be smarter than we think they are,
Hmm.
to be more creative than we think they are, to welcome new things more than we think they will.
Yeah,
It's a measured diet. I think it's wise to be measured in that
yeah,
diet of new, but let's give them some credit to jump into
yeah,
some new things.
for sure. Okay, this song seems to be really taken off. Did you expect that? Was this the song you expected was gonna kind of land and lead the way in the beginning? Grace Greater. I mean, I love the hymn, and I can't remember another arrangement of this hymn that is so prominent right now. So,
Yeah. I kind of I it was the one I'll put it this way. It was the one I was going to lead first in my own church.
I'm still here. Don't worry.
And oh, okay. I because the accessibility of that song is really, really high. I mean, it's like really good, really easily accessible for the worshiper.
Mm-hmm.
And I did want to tie to the original hymn, but you know what? A lot of modern hymn writers do is they'll sing the verse of a hymn and then write a new chorus,
Yeah.
or they'll sing a part of a hymn and then they write a responding chorus. And what I wanted to do, and I wrote this with David Moffat, who's my longest co-writer,
Yeah.
wrote Jesus Saves with him, and Just As I Am, and No Other Found, a million songs with David.
Yeah.
And then also Jeff Pardo, who is one of the best writers of this generation. We flip-flopped it. So I said, why don't we keep the chorus of this song and
Yeah.
write new verses?
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And I don't know, I can't recall if that's been done before, but so that allowed us to, in a more modern way, kind of express an idea with a verse, but then grab hold of that chorus that everybody knows and feels like they can really dig into when they worship.
Yeah.
Grace, grace, God's grace, grace that will pardon and cleanse within. So I'm really, I have a no holds barred excitement about leading that song. I don't think it presents very few obstacles for people to learn, embrace, and be able to enter in.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Another hymn. This is kind of like a hymn for our modern generation. That's probably. I mean, if we were going to write new hymn books today, this would be most definitely in it. And you got to have your daughter help
100%.
lead out in this. So let's talk about someone else's song here a little bit. Like, this is your take on, and what's your experience in leading this song? How do you think it speaks to our current generation?
Well, I think this song says so much. It says what it says richly, but
Yeah.
attainably.
Yeah.
And the thing about this song, it has a climb. I'm going to speak like a musician here, and I don't mean this like in a manipulating the moment way, but this song has a climb in the music of it that when you sing it, by the time you've built up spiritually everything you've said, a lot in the same way that in Christ alone, like you've said so much in Christ alone,
Yeah.
that when you get to no guilt in life, no fear in death, this is the power of Christ in me.
Yeah.
There is nothing more perfect that they could have written right there in that
Yeah.
moment. The climb is just crazy.
Right.
And the climb is the same and yet not I, but it's a little
Hmm.
more subtle. Like you don't see it coming.
Hmm.
Um, it has a tenderness to the climb, but by the time you get to the back half of that last verse, you're just like, arms in the air,
Yeah.
I just love it so much. And the interesting thing is, I think it's so singable. When we first started it, Nathan had so the original, well, the City of Light version. I think that I learned this from was in the key of C,
Yeah.
and my version is in the key of C as well. And when we started it, Nathan started it in F, a whole fourth away,
Oh, wow.
for me to lead in my voice,
Yeah.
in my range. And you know what? That It would have been fine. I mean, there are people that could have blazed through that, but I couldn't live with it because I do think it's so accessible in the key of C that basically pretty much any voice can sing that.
Yeah.
You know, I have a little thing in my head. Well, we won't get into our differences about keys. We've talked about it a lot, but um, you know, when a female, if a female can sing a song, then kind of anybody, pretty much anybody can sing a song. Sometimes it might be low for a tenor or whatever,
Yeah.
but I loved how it sat in the key of C. So there wasn't a lot that I could do to make it better than the original, except change the energy of the arrangement. And I
Yeah.
think we pulled in a little more popness.
You did.
We shortened the turnarounds because the
Yeah.
turnarounds of the original can feel long. I mean, not necessarily, but we kind of tightened it up and pulled it up a little bit with
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of that song. I would lead that every week.
Beautiful. I am kind of interested. What's the sweet spot of your vocal range? Because I mean, we won't go deep into this, but I just want to know, as an example, like if you're singing in the sweet spot of Travis Cottrell, what is that for you? Do you know? You must know.
I don't know how to answer that because the sweet spot singing what?
Yeah.
Like this goes back to
Okay.
how I'm so wired
Yeah.
to be just a leader and not a singer. Like if I'm singing
Yeah.
and if I know that really I just am singing to sound good or I'm singing over a crowd,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna love to stay anywhere from like a B flat to an F or G
Right.
up in there.
Yeah. In the
But if
high.
I'm leading
Yeah.
on the high side,
On the high
yeah.
side. Yeah.
But if I'm leading a song, I'm not going to want to live up there. It's going
No.
to work for some women. It'll work for women and some men,
Hmm.
but not. It's just going to be harder to find. So that's
That's
there are two different answers to that
yeah.
question.
Gotcha. Okay, let's keep going. I mean, I'm starting to love this song from David Crowder. God really loves us. Just I think he must have written it on his acoustic guitar, but man, it's I love your take on it as well. You've made some changes, not really changing the chords, but I can tell you've put some arranging into it to give it a bit of a
Yes,
Travis Cottrell. Tell me about that. What did you do to it?
his I love his arrangement so much, and his
Yeah,
was a half step higher
yeah,
and didn't have rhythm. It was basically piano and maybe some pads or strings.
yeah,
There was no drums.
yeah.
And I said, let's give this let's do this like a worship band with all the general pieces, drums, bass, guitar, and keys, can sink their teeth into it.
Yeah,
Because he can write a soulful song just like nobody. Like this song has so much
I know.
just depth of soul to it.
Yeah,
It has a cry to it, and so I wanted everybody in on it.
yeah.
So that's what we did. And Hannah Kerr, I don't know if you've met Hannah, but I've been a fan of Hannah's for a little while, just loving her music. And then when I came to work here at Brentwood and found that she serves here, her family goes to church here.
Wow.
She sings on the worship team when she's in town. It's just like her voice is really special, and it's because her heart is really special. Like
Huh.
um, she's just something else. And so I said, Hannah, will you please come sing on this song for me? And she did, and I'm so glad. But that song has a soulful heart um, that Crowder seems to really be able to write for. I don't know. He just does.
Yeah,
But we just kind of elevated it, made it more of a worship band song.
yeah, yeah. You're quite intentional about that. Like I'm hearing that a lot. You're taking songs and you're going, I just want to elevate it a bit, bring the whole band into it. And I mean, you're really thinking about the band and everyone's sort of like joining in together, sinking in. That's kind of going through your mind. Anything else you can kind of give us cues as to like what's Travis the arranger thinking, even vocally? Do you have some? I don't know. Take us into the weeds of your brain when you're thinking about vocal arranging and chords and how that ultimately brings a resource for the church, which is kind of like your core vision and passion for life. So, what's
Right.
what is the
You know, you can hear my influences in my choral writing because I am innately a 3 and 4 part harmony guy.
yeah
Like, modern worship beginning in the like probably like 2000, 2001, it became it has it it just became a little less harmony friendly. And I don't mean that as a bad way. I just mean it from a production standpoint, 3 part harmony kind of started not working for some worship
yeah
uh, writers, and it has been a mainstay in traditional gospel and Southern gospel, all kinds of gospel. But in terms of modern worship, it wasn't always the thing to be 3 part harmony, and that's always been my thing. Like I learned how to write harmony listening to Stephen V. Taylor, Right Truth records and First Call and all those,
yeah
Phillips, Craig, and Dean. For him, all those 3 part harmony things are ingrained in me. So when I'm arranging chorally, I'm trying to make sure that every voice part has a home. And so, and then, from a chord structure standpoint, like how do you navigate through these quickly changing chords? Do you go to unison here? Do you can you get from here to here without it being awkward?
mm-hmm
I kind of I would always tell my choral publishing bosses and friends, like I'm wonderfully average for you because I all I do is try to put everything exactly where the average musical mind would want it to go
yeah yeah
for the most part. Here and there, we break a rule,
yeah
but by and large, I want to go. Where does your brain, if you're thinking about harmony, where does your brain drop you in this
mm-hmm
song?
mm-hmm
And I try to make it work right there.
yeah. That's beautiful. Well, I want people as we're listening to this little back end tour through Travis's album to just to know that someone is thinking about not just them, not just thinking about how can Travis sound amazing, but you're thinking about like how does the average worship pastor, what's the average congregation like, what are they gonna sink their teeth into? Vocal ranges, choral arranging, vocal arranging, all that kind of stuff. So it's good for us to hear that kind of intentionality that you're putting into this. So it's really
Yeah.
great.
I mean, the goal
Yeah.
is Sunday morning for me,
Yeah. Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Like goal number one is Sunday morning, make rehearsal easy and fun
Mm-hmm.
and make worship meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And then the byproducts of that will be the listening on Monday through Saturday,
Yeah.
rather than the other way around. Like make a
Right.
record sound good and then go see if you can make it work on Sunday.
Right. Yeah. Okay, one more song that I want to do, and then we'll just sort of go over the resources in general that we have in Praise Charts. But you got to have the queen of great hymnody, Kristen Getty, singing on this song. So tell us about how did you get her to sing on your album? I want to know that.
Well, I always try to make Keith feel indebted to me for, making America sing in Christ Alone since 2004,
Yeah.
which of course I'm only kidding because I didn't make America sing, but I have sung that song and led it a lot and I've
Yes.
recorded it a lot. And
Yes.
so we've had a fun relationship about that. I'm always telling him, at least another, could I have a steak dinner? Could we, um, but they are dear friends and now they live, we live in town together and
Yeah.
I've been at their conference, pretty much every year. And
Yeah.
so he's a nice friend,
Yeah.
in the industry. And Nathan produces their music. Okay, so
Mm.
he's produced the last 3 or 4 Getty records and has a relationship with him. And we were trying to find a home for Cummy Centers. We're trying to figure out what it was going to sound like. Um, and we were just kind of thinking, what about keys and what about a dramatic key change?
Yeah.
And I said to him, "What do you think about Kristen?" He goes, "I think you should ask. And if you ask and you can get a yes from him, I'll take care of it." Because he knew how to work through their system just to get it done.
Nice.
So I texted Keith and just said, I kind of threw it at him thinking, I don't know if I'll hear back from him. I don't know if it'll be 2 days. I don't know what country he's in. I'm telling you, in 30 seconds,
No way.
I mean, it was less than 30 seconds. We're in. Anything we can do, we would
Mm.
be so happy to do it. Thank you for asking. I was like, thank you so much. And when I tell you, and so we did, I did my part, and then Nathan took it and had Kristen. And when I tell you, I first listened to that voice, don't sleep on Kristen's greatness, like, because it sounds so effortless and it sounds so pure.
Yeah.
That cannot ever be translated as not one of the most timeless and beautiful voices of our generation. She
Yeah.
just, like, the way her voice takes to tape, it is just flat out gorgeous.
Hmm.
And on Cummy Centers, I mean, she kills it.
Nice. Beautiful. Such a
Yeah.
great full collection of songs. So glad to come alongside you. And if you don't mind, just to kind of like in wrapping up here, there is actually something new that we have done in Praise Charts that we're just kind of like releasing just as you're releasing this album. Is, as you know, the choral world is kind of going through changes, and some companies are still around, some companies aren't around, and some are still in print. I've heard of places that have warehouses full of, octavos that they don't quite know what to do with from the 80s and 90s and 2000s and that. So anyways, Praise Charts in its 25 years has never been in the world of print, but kind of launching alongside of you with this album, we are offering it as download and as print. Now, we do what's called print on demand, which means you can go in any song on Praise Charts, but most notably all this music from your album. And if you want the beautiful folded octavo, to hand out to your choir and put in your folios and stuff like that, you can now do that with Praise Charts.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because your covers look beautiful. We've made them look beautiful in Praise Charts as well. And so, it's not rocket science. You just go find the song you want, and then if it's available in print, you just select that, and boom, check out. It'll be on your doorstep in a couple of days, just like the good old days, right, Travis? Oh, did we? You still there? Here, I'm just making my pitch, and somehow our video went out a little bit. So maybe I'll need to get Travis to call back in. Maybe he got offended by my big print thing. So hold with us. You still there? Oh, you're coming back. This is live, so this is what we do. It's like Wi-Fi and.
Oh no. Hello, are you there now?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. It's good.
Oh,
What
good.
happened?
I don't know what happened. I'm just sitting here doing the same thing.
Okay.
What I was saying, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can totally hear you.
Okay. I what This is an extension of what your very heart is. I mean, this is
Yeah.
just another way of trying to resource people.
Yeah.
And you know, there are smarter people than me that can dissect what's happened in the choral world and the many reasons and lots of things that have happened. But one thing that we can all take away is let's be wise, and let's meet needs as efficiently as we can,
Mm-hmm.
and let's meet as many needs as we can. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that you're doing this. Some people are ready to print their own, You know that we do
Yeah.
that here, but some people aren't. So let's find a way to meet their needs as efficiently so that
Yeah.
it works for us and for them. And
Yeah.
I commend you for doing it. And I hope the church really feels um, uh, seen
Yes.
and heard, and like you're really trying to meet them where they are, no matter where it is, because
Yeah.
every church is a different size, and you got this church that does this church that does this. And what
Mm-hmm.
our hope is that our songs, arrangements, and charts can meet every church from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so glad you're doing it, because I think it's meeting a need and resourcing in a new way.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to show you how easy it is. And I'll tell you, in my world of technology, it's really difficult to make something complex very simple. And so that's what we've tried to do. And so just as an example, you come to Kindness of the Cross. This is the choral anthem version of this song. We got two versions of it. Both follow the same recording. But when you click to check out, you should see... Oh my goodness. Am I actually going onto a... Is it like not showing the print? And here I was expecting to do the big show off thing. So, I'm going to have to go to my team and go, what happened there? So I'm going to take this one, Grace Greater, add that to the cart, and there we go. So for some reason, we'll get that
Print and
fixed.
ship.
There you go.
Yes.
So it's always these are the options that you're going to see. So all you got to do is click print and ship, and then, this is the chords or whatever the chart is that you want. If you want the octavo, you pick that, you put your 20 copies or whatever that you have, and off it goes. So so that's how easy. I'm telling you, it was incredibly complex to make it that easy, but it's worth it.
Right.
So
It's worth it. Hey, you know what I didn't realize? I didn't realize that we had a comment section. And can I just make a quick shout out?
Yeah, you can.
Just a couple of, there's really nice comment from Chuck Spindler. I appreciate those words so much.
Yeah.
Chuck, thank you. And yes, right there. That's so nice. I was grateful to be a part of Word Hymns. That was so nice. And then I want to give a shout out to my high school Sunday school teacher, Carolyn Champion, one of the dearest ladies to me. So she's so amazing. She was
nice.
so smart and funny and wonderful, and made a real difference in our lives there in Boone, North Carolina. So hi, Carolyn. I love you.
Love it. Love it. Okay, Travis, I hope we can just keep doing this. Let's just keep doing this till we retire, and maybe we won't retire. Maybe we'll just do this till Jesus comes back. I'd be fine with that. Back. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so blessed by what you all have done with this project. I'm just so excited, and I pray that people find it useful and helpful and wonderful resource. Thank you so much.
Well, this here, me and Travis, whichever direction, this is a relationship will definitely last a long time. You've already got, thoughts for the next album are already spinning, and Travis is telling me next time, man, we are gonna hit it out of the park. So I don't know what you're thinking about, but that sounds really fun, and there will be more to come after that. So, but until then, we've got all the resources. I'm telling you, all the ones, because Travis butted me off the fence and made me make everything. So it's all at PraiseCharts, in print, in download, orchestrations, multi-tracks. Actually, all your tracks from your album just went live today. We didn't even have them on Friday, but they just went live today. And so if you want to have that help, is all available as well.
I didn't know that.
I know. So Travis, you have to come to PraiseCharts and get these tracks. They're really great. So
I'm gonna need them.
Travis will actually call me every now and then. He's like, "Okay, I'm on your site right now," and it's like, "What does this mean?" or something like that.
That was just a few days ago. I know. Doing that.
I know. I'm always here to help you, man. So whatever you need. Anyways, love it. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I've been doing too many interviews today, and my camera is overheating. So fortunately, my microphone works, and I am still here. This is Ryan Dahl, Travis Cottrell, The Kindness of the Cross. Sorry for the glitches, but the music will be great. Go and get it. Love you all. See you then. All right, bye then.